Wait, Bowguns 101 stats and changes in Monster Hunter. Shit, bro. Here we go. Okay, are we cooked like a Minsang, bro? Are we cooked, bro? Okay, but yep. Okay, so this is the weapon I intend to main. Okay, from like world and everything, right? Femeto is like the Gunners Guild guy, so like I trust him for like the Gunner stats and everything. Okay, but like from what I see, I think Bowguns are cooked. Okay, but yep. And I guess I'm identity crisis. And I don't know what to main, bro. Okay, but yep. Let's see, bro. They do say about 1% have autism. Okay, but they're bringing Gathering Hub back. They are bringing Gathering Hub in the title update 1, yeah. Probably because
There,
of popular
Hunters,
demand.
welcome back to the Gunners Guild.
Okay, but
Today we're going to talk about my favorite topic, bowguns, because as you may be aware, Capcom mentioned that they had to rework most of the bowgun kit for
oh,
Wilds.
look at that
And I was pretty
recoil,
excited
man.
for that
Spread ammo,
because I
bro.
felt like 5th gen gunning was kind of brain dead and overpowered. And good news is they took out the overpowered part. Now, look, obviously this is subject to a
Okay,
little
brain dead and overpowered. They took out the overpowered part, so it's brain dead now. Shit, man. Okay, but
little bit more personal for me, so forgive my tone of voice and shallow criticisms, but we're here to discuss what's changed with bowguns in Monster Hunter Wild, so let's get into it. Now, first I need to start out by saying that all the actual like controls and buttons, I already did a video on that, like what's basically changed like input wise, and so you can go check out that video. Today we're gonna get into all like
bro, this Arcveld armor on this LBG is sick, bro. What the fuck, man? Okay, all this flowing thing is like badass, dude.
statistical and mechanical changes for some of the equipment. So let's start with the equipment page to go over all the bowgun stats so we know what we're working with. The top section here is what the base stats are for the bowgun.
Spread HBG footage looks miserable. Yeah, I think like we don't really have any more like separate like a recoil and like a reload. They all just have the same thing. So yeah, and like spread ammo in particular will have like giga recoil and like normal reload, which kinda sucks because it basically makes like spread ammo unplayable. Okay, but and that's the only ammo I enjoy because it's the ammo that is like not pussy mode like melee range. Okay, but yep. Okay, the rest of the ammo are like pussy mode like brain dead shoot from far. I don't wanna play that, so yeah.
and defense, if you may have it, you know the drill. Now, while there is technically bowguns with an elemental icon when you forge the Arshan parts, these bowguns do not have any innate element or status and is not displayed here. So
it's just the
don't
ammo.
worry about
You can
that
shoot
part,
like
just
the
a visual
ammo.
thing. Now, below this is where the new parts of the bowguns are. Typically, we would have recoil and reload levels or mod slots and barrel attachments, but now we just have our infinite raw ammos and mod options. So the first 3 ammos here are going to be the same for all your bowguns. It's your normal, spread, and pierce, all our 3 raw ammos. They're always going to be displayed with their current level. And like any other Monster Hunter game, these come in 3 levels. So spread 1, spread 2, spread 3, normal 1, normal 2, normal 3. You get the idea. Same 3 ammos. Below this though, we have our 2 lines for our actual MO mods. Every bowgun has only 2 slots here, and it's always the same 2 slots for the entire upgrade tree of the weapon. So let's discuss what can be in these 2 slots because it's a little different for each weapon, and it's going to be a little.
Can I join the party with Party Finder to kill any monster? Yeah, you can. So yeah, it's free drop in, drop out. So yeah. Okay, I guess there is no recoil reduction deco either. So weirdly enough, there is a skill to reduce like reload. It's called first shot. Weirdly enough, but not for recoil. So like yeah, I think we're fucked.
A bit confusing, but trust
At least
me,
not as far as we know. Maybe like there is one in the game. I don't know, but yep.
there's really not very many options once you get familiar with it. So the first slot is always strictly MO upgrades, of which there are 2 options to roll. Either you have your powder upgrades, which will increase the level of any one MO type by 1. So if you have normal 1s and you select your normal powder upgrade, this bowgun will be upgraded to normal 2s. This is the same for spread, pierce, and elemental MO. Those are the only options for MO powder upgrades. The second thing that could be in this first slot is the magazine upgrade, which will increase the clip size of that selected MO by 1. Again, same options, normal, spread, pierce, or elemental. There are no options to upgrade the level or the magazine size for slicing, sticky, status, clusters, or support MOs. The second mod slot here is a toss-up depending on your gun. First, you can either get another magazine upgrade, which is the same as the one in the first slot, but will also include options for your special MO, which will include for the light bowgun an additional special MO shot or an additional rapid fire energy, which the additional special MO of course is going to be like one more landmine or more adhesive shot, while the additional rapid fire energy typically gets you like one more shot from your rapid fire mode, which isn't worth a whole lot in my opinion. In this case, using Pierce, you go from 13 shots to 14. Not that big of a deal. In Heavy Bowgun's case, this slot can
Okay,
include
characters
either
look like Lost Ark, Gunlance, Berserk like artillerist. Well, you do know that Lost Ark literally tries to copy-paste Monster Hunter, right? They literally copy-paste like the entire homework, bro. Even the engraving system literally copy-paste like old Monster Hunter. So yeah, they failed at it, bro, because like they just died, right? But yeah. Okay, so it's the other way around, like Gopi, man. So they really tried to copy Monster Hunter. So they just failed at it. So
Ignition mode upgrade, which will increase your special ammo damage by 10%,
really ripped
or
off
a
Dauntless,
standard
man.
mode
As
upgrade,
Dauntless
which
is
will
dying.
increase your raw
Check
ammo
W
damage
Dauntless.
by 10%. Again, the standard mode is strictly for normal, spread, and pierce ammo. Heavy Bowguns will also have an ignition mod option, which will reduce the cooldown time of your special ammo. The second option for either gun is elemental ammo or special ammo mods. This is only going to increase the magazine bonus for your elemental ammo or a mod upgrade. So it's kind of like the same mod as before, but now more limited. For light bowguns, this will be an elemental ammo magazine, so it increases your elemental clip sizes by 1, or a rapid fire
Ripped
mod
off
to
Dauntless
increase the recovery time of
successfully,
your rapid
even
fire
killed
energy,
Dauntless. Am
or
I
a
right,
special
bro?
ammo mod
Dauntless
which will
dead.
increase the recovery time of your special ammos.
Yeah.
For heavy bowgun, this is again an elemental magazine boost for that one more clip size of
Yeah,
elemental
we saw
ammo,
most of these mods
or
already
either
from
a
like
standard or ignition mode upgrade depending on the
from
bowgun,
like the
which will
leak
increase
stuff.
either your
I need
special
to know
ammo
the
or raw damage by 10%.
the info that's not
And
in
an
the leaks,
ignition
bro.
mod upgrade, which increases the recovery time of your special ammo.
What came first, the
Same old,
scouter
same
or
old.
the heavy bowgun?
Okay, so I know that was a bit, and it's kind of confusing.
Heavy bowgun
but
is
trust
there
me,
on the
you'll
very
get used
first
to it.
like Monster Hunter.
But we're
bro.
almost on the first stat page here. So the last slot here is your special ammo options. My bowgun can only either have Wyvern Blast, which is the landmine, or adhesive ammo, which acts like a wyvern stake in that you shoot it and you have to hit the monster with it, and you need to damage it a bit before it explodes and it does more damage.
That Raidao
options are
LBG
entirely-
is badass, though. There is lightning on the railgun, bro. This LBG is badass, man.
Changeable and not locked at all, any bowgun can have either special ammo. For heavy bowguns, you have a little bit more in this stat block. Of course, you can get your special ammo options, which can be your Wyvern Heart or Wyvern Pierce. Wyvern Pierce is not Wyvern Snipe as it was in previous generations. It's just like a big, slower Pierce shot that also locks you into place, and it's kind of annoying to use. You also have your choice of Wyvern Counter, which is the standard counter attack that can, counter certain monster moves. Then you also have Wyvern Blast Ignition, which is like a little cluster shot. Again, you can freely change between these whenever you want. Now below this, Heavy Bowgun has two other stats. Ignition Gauge Recovery, which comes in levels 1, 2, and 3, and either Standard or Ignition Mode, levels 0, 1, or 2. So the first one is rather obvious. This is your cooldown rate of your Ignition Gauge or your Special Ammo Gauge. And remember, this recovers via both time
Surprise
and
LBG,
shooting.
man.
Now the last stat
Okay.
block here is Mode Focus, which is either going to be Standard or Ignition Base. Some bowguns will have it show both, and you can treat this as value 0, and offers no special bonus to either your raw shots or your special ammo.
Yeah, this is
can-
cooked, man. So like we know spread ammo is cooked, so we're not going for standard mode, bro. Okay, the only way I can main like HBG right now if special ammo is like can be made to be really strong. If not,
Rather than upgrade this to
It's
Standard
cooked, bro.
Mode 1
Okay,
for
but-
10% raw damage boost, or Standard Mode 2 for 20% raw damage boost. Or likewise, go to Ignition Mode 1 for 10% special ammo damage
wait,
boost.
standard mode does
or
not
Ignition
even
Mode 2 for
include
20%
elemental
special
ammo, bro.
damage boost.
Okay, that's also
That's
sad.
basically what all the heavy bowgun mods are doing. It's just adjusting these two things. Now, lastly, for each weapon, you now have weapon skills attached to them. So at the bottom here, you can see what skills innately come with your weapon. Okay, so that's a lot of information just for the first stat page, but let's go ahead and summarize it here so we can see everything clearly, and hopefully this little infographic is somewhat useful. Do note that we no longer have barrel attachment mods for our bowguns, and heavy bowgun will always have a shield now. Moving on to stat
Pagi,
page
bro.
2 of the weapons, we have our decoration slots for our weapon decorations. That's all that's going to be here, pretty self-explanatory. And then the last page here is for your ammo table for your bowgun. And as you can see, we really don't have any new ammunitions, but if you played with bowguns before, then this page is going to look a little different. Because first, all the ammo will have only one level shown, because there is no separation of ammo between levels anymore. If you can shoot fire 2, you cannot shoot fire 1s. If you can have sticky 3s, you can't use sticky 2s. It's just all of one ammo type now. Whatever your bowgun has, that's what it's going to have. Because the only thing in the game that can change the ammo levels of your bowgun is that first mod, if you have a powder mod. And even
Yeah,
so,
no more
it
recoil and reload levels to adjust, right? Here we go, bro.
will only allow you to change the levels of your 3 raw ammos and elemental ammo. The next thing you'll notice is that we have no recoil or reload stats anymore. That is right, my worst fears have come true and all ammo will be shot at the exact same all the time. There's no recoil or reload armor skills or weapon skills or anything you can do to change the recoil and reload speeds of any ammunition.
Yeah, but why make like spread ammo shoots like and then like have giga recoil though? What the fuck, bro? That's just unplayable, man. At least make it have a normal recoil. Cannot like a high recoil. This is bullshit, bro. Fucking bullshit,
and soon,
man.
at the end of the video, we'll kind of cover all the shot types and patterns and animations. You can see how every ammo shoots and reloads, but first I want to touch up on the bowgun skills. So here's a list of every bowgun skill in the game and what they do, so let's talk about them real quick. First, it's ballistics. It's a returning skill that increases the critical distance of your ammo, very useful. Unlike other games though, where it would increase the top end and sometimes the minimal range at level 2, it's now only going to increase the top end critical distance range.
Rip.
No
So
ammo
can't
can
be
get
closer
any
as
closer
well.
to the monster with this skill, which is going to be kind of important later, you'll see. But it's still a very good skill. Next, we have these.
Maybe they want you to go close range and recoil like hits the boss. Like doesn't make sense though if that's the case because like being closer is more dangerous. So like and then shooting it and like be stuck in the recoil makes it like even worse. Okay, so because like now you cannot block because of the recoil. On top of that, range takes double damage. So they just die in one shot. Why the fuck would you play that when you can just jump in on a melee and just hit the boss unga bunga, never dies? So like there is really no reason, man. Okay, but there is not really any reason for that. At this point, like you might as well just go play like normal or pierce, shoot from far like a pussy and do more damage anyway. Okay, but yeah. Okay, it's okay. I don't mind like the close range and everything, right? But the recoil also lowers the DPS because of how big the recoil is, right? It lowers your DPS. So because you cannot shoot as fast compared to like shooting like normal or pierce ammo. Okay, but
Shot type up skills. These increase your raw shot type damage by 5%. Yes, only 5%. It's not 10%. So normal up, spread up, pierce up are all one level skills for 5% damage. Then we have opening shot, a new bowgun skill. Okay, I have to come back and do some recording after the fact here. So opening shot does increase your reload speed as it does say, but not like you think. So if you played older Monster Hunter games, so rather than having like slow reload speed, and then when you get a reload speed upgrade, you go to like normal speed. With opening shot here in Wild, you still have the same reload animation, it just plays slightly faster, which is new and unique to Wilds. So yes, opening shot does increase your reload speed and give a small 7.5% damage boost to your first shot, which really isn't worth anything. But it does give me hope that later down the line, we will get a recoil reduction weapon skill or armor skill. And so that gives me some pretty good hope. But yes, I think this skill is actually pretty decent now. At least on the things that have slow reload like sticky and slice. You don't really notice it with like, spreads and such, obviously. Next
yeah, but you cannot bring like a lot of like sticky or slicing, so you're cooked anyway, bro.
Special ammo boost, which is another returning skill that increases your special
Use controller, keyboard, hard to play, many combo buttons. Nope, I played on like a mouse and keyboard and no problem, man. Skill issue.
Damage by up to 20%. Still a fairly decent skill, but being on the highly competitive weapon slot is kind of going to reduce its usage. We also have.
What about wait? But like, what about the numbers though? Okay, does it say the number?
20%. Still special ammo boost, which is another returning skill that increases your special ammo damage by up to 20%. Still a fairly decent skill.
Right,
but being on the highly competitive weapon
we
slot
build special ammo build.
Kind of going to reduce its usage.
Copium.
We also have the returning rapid fire boost, which doesn't give an additional shot on rapid fire burst, but it does increase your rapid fire damage by a whole 5%, which again is not very good considering that we can't even have full sustain on our rapid fire ammo anymore. Lastly, we have Tetrad Shot, which increases the affinity of our 4th and 6th shot by a pretty good amount. It's like 30%. But I don't see a significant damage boost. Maybe it's like a 5%. It says it does damage, but definitely noticeable crit. Again, maybe translation errors. Maybe it is just infinity. I don't know. But I don't have specific values for these. I'm sure we'll get data mined information shortly.
Okay, but check bow combo, left mouse, RF, how? R and F with your like 2 fingers and then left mouse with the index finger on the other one. What do you mean, bro? Okay, how hard could that be, bro? Okay, but yeah, besides like what you're looking for is like Dragon Piercer, you're barely ever gonna use that move actually. So yeah, it's not something you use like that much.
This game gets launched and I can compile that later. But for now, it just doesn't seem very good, especially when it's like only on your 4th shot. And that's all the bowgun skills, at least for now, from what I've seen. Maybe there are some super rare ones, and at this point I kind of hope so, because we're missing, obviously, recoil and reload skills, which hurt a lot. We have no ammo up skills to increase our clip sizes. We have no spare shot. We got nothing, which is really significant for bowguns at all. It's just minor damage things here or there. Ballistics probably being the best skill they have.
Spoiler, man, Guardian Doshaguma right there. It's standing up actually somehow.
The 5% damage boosts are kind of a laugh. I hope opening shot works one day and maybe gives us some better reload speeds, because maybe that can be good. But yeah, overall, not a good place for bowgun skills because there's nothing really to get excited over. May as well just get generic attack skills like attack boost, crit eye, wex, crit boost, stuff like that. But anyway,
heavy bowgun
let's go
does
over the
look
bowgun.
cool. It does, bro, but like, you know, from this function, right, they suck dick in this function. Like, if you play heavy bowgun in like World or like Rise, then that's a different thing. But like, yeah, so far from what we know, they suck dick right here. And I'm
Well,
so sad
finally.
because I wanna main it, but
Of
yeah.
course, I don't have motion values for these yet. Data mine values will be out
Maybe-
soon,
maybe
I'm
Monster
sure,
Hunters
and I can
have
update this with more advanced guide later on. But we're going to cover the basics of what changed for all the MOs, so let's just dive into these. Starting with normals. As you've no doubt seen by now, normals always shoot in a rapid burst 3. Each level of normals increases its damage, but otherwise doesn't have any effect on its properties. The critical distance of normals changes with light bowgun and heavy bowgun. For heavy bowgun, they can't be used at point blank range, but about a half roll away from the target is where the critical distance starts. However, light bowgun can use normals at point blank range, which seems odd given that heavy bowgun is a shield weapon now and has to be close to the monsters most of the time, whereas light bowgun can kind of just walk away. Normal emmos will also deal half damage when within the minimal crit distance range, so like if you're at the point blank range, and do 10% over crit distance range.
Yeah, the fact that like HBG normal ammo shoots like that as well kinda sucks as well actually. Okay, but why does LBG shoot faster that way, man? What the hell, bro? Okay, but yeah, why? Man, Soranic, bro, what do we do, man? Okay, we're so cooked, bro.
Moving on to spread ammo. Spreads will increase their pellet count when their level upgrades. They go from, 5 to 6 to 7 pellets on spread 1, 2, and 3. And again, motion values will be later. The issues with spread are compounding too, because not only does spread take so long to shoot and push you back away from the monster, making it harder to land those shots effectively and stay in critical distance, but spread also can't be used at point blank ranges on light or heavy bowgun. This means the actual effective window for spreads is very narrow, and while the range is good with ballistics, it's not being able to use it at point blank range is kind of a nail in the coffin, as it can't be used well with bowgun if you're trying to utilize block. And light bowgun really doesn't want to be stationary for so long while trying to shoot that thing. As you can see though, the recoil on spreads is very bad for both bowguns, and in general it is very difficult to find use for spread ammo just because of that. Bright side is that the reload speed is quick, but clearly I'm not a
Yeah,
fan of
let's set up like a funeral for like heavy bowgun, bro. Okay, for this one. Okay, but especially spread ammo, bro. It's so
spread
bad, man.
being like this.
What did you say again?
A fan because of that. Bright side is that the reload speed is quick, but clearly I'm not a fan of spread being like this.
Yep, same here. Basically unusable at this point. So, yep. It's dead. Bro, look at this pathetic like ammo, bro. My god, bro. Why did they do this, man? Why, bro?
Next we have Pierce ammo, which doesn't have any downsides as I can see. The critical distance is fairly good. Now obviously we can't use it too close, but in general that's not much of an issue for light bowgun as it is for heavy bowgun. Though it still does half damage when up close, again odd that spread is the one that can't. Pierce ticks are also very condensed in wild, allowing you to get your maximum pierce ticks very easily on most monsters. Tick rate does increase with pierce levels, and the maximum ticks are 5, 7, and 9 for pierce 1, 2, and 3 respectively. Now pierce does have a weird interaction where if the initial shot is too close and not in critical distance range, then all the pierce ticks will never get critical distance damage, even though it travels through the monster to get that proper crit distance range. It's the only awkward interaction I've seen with Pierce, but overall Pierce is probably the most reliable ammo type that I've used.
Pierce angle, bro. Yeah, probably the only one that makes sense, and just stay as far as you can, bro. Pussy mode. So, yep. Okay, I guess like the only saving like a way for me right here to play this is either like
On to slice ammo.
Special ammo with Pierce to like regen the gauge. Okay, if not that, we're not playing it. So, yep. Okay, but yeah. Always had our backs, not anymore, Trehekman. So yeah, they abandoned us. HBG abandoned already. Okay, 3-second animation lock.
ammo, everyone's favorite. Slice is exclusive to heavy bowguns
Slicing
now,
is
but does
extremely
still have
strong
some pretty
though.
awful recoil and reload speeds, unfortunately.
Yeah, look at the
While it
damage
does do
though.
fairly decent damage, it's still limited by your crafting materials as well. You can only carry 12 slice ammo on you, plus 30 slash berries, and 5 burst arowana fish, which make 15 more rounds for a total of 57 slice ammo, which I guess isn't awful, but it's definitely a slow process to kill something with slice, given that the recoil and reload speeds are so bad. For heavy bowgun though, this is probably one of their best MOs given the limited mobility and needing to block to be close to monsters now, since it isn't affected by critical distance, of course.
You're not interested
The
in
damage of
LBG? Nah. Nope. Actually, if it's spread LBG, same. But spread LBG is like, again, spread is like again, what I'm interested is not like the LBG or the HBG itself. It's the spread ammo, the shotgun build, basically. Because I don't really want to shoot from far. So if I wanted to do like the thing, still ammo crafting, yeah, I mean elemental like stuff is gonna be crafting as well. So, yep. But yeah, what I'm interested is like the spread ammo, which is we know like it's fucked already. So yep. So again like but then like they also like added like the special ammo, right? Maybe if we can make a workable special ammo build or something, and like they don't suck dick like the old games, then like it's possible. But other than that, like we ain't playing it probably. Okay, but yep.
slice is okay. I still think it lacks compared to Pierce 3, so I'm not going to say it's amazing, but it's good enough to be used still. Sticky ammo is kind of in the same boat of slice. Same type of crafting setup where we can hold 9, but carry 30 blast nuts and 5 fish for a total of 54 sticky ammo. The recoil in the sticky ammo is also not awful, it's definitely more usable than slice or spread ammo, but it does have a very slow reload speed unfortunately. The damage is okay, you can get sticky 2s and 3s in a good position to deal about 100 damage a hit, which I mean isn't good alright, but for bowguns it's not terrible. I'm sure some people will try to do the sticky builds again, but I honestly don't think they're worth the effort. You can get your 1 KO with them and then call it a day, I'd say. There's exactly one sticky light bowgun with rapid fire, and I don't recommend it given the low clip size, the slow reload speeds, and then obviously the rapid fire reduces their damage as well. So again, I recommend sticky for 1 KO, and that's it. Then we have cluster ammo, which is my favorite, and also a heavy bowgun exclusive here in Wilds. Cluster ammo functions pretty much identical to how it did in World. We're still limited to 13 total clusters, which sucks since we don't have spare shot anymore, so we can't realistically sustain our cluster usage anymore. But their damage is still very solid. Clusters will drop 3, 4, or 5 cluster bombs based upon the level of cluster ammo, and each bomb can hit to about 100 damage, so they're still pretty strong. The bigger issue I have with clusters now is that the explosion radius is incredibly tiny here in Wilds, so if that cluster doesn't land literally on the monster, there's a good chance it's not going to do damage to it either. Like there's no little AoE splash on the explosions anymore, so clusters end up being rather inconsistent.
Yeah, time to make
Still
the
probably
Wyvern
best ammo for
Cluster
heavy
special
bowgun,
ammo
though.
build,
I do
bro.
recommend using them if you
Okay,
can.
but yep.
Wyvern ammo is in a similar boat, heavy bowgun exclusive of course, but it functions pretty much as it always has. It deals a decent amount of damage, though for the time investment it takes to shoot and load one of these, I don't think it's really worth your time. But if you're running an explosives heavy bowgun, you might be able to put it in a build and make it better than your raw ammo, which honestly is not saying all that much for heavy bowgun. Status MOs such as Poison, Para, Sleep, and Exhaust all work as they did in previous generation. Poisons tick for about 10 or 15 damage depending on the monster and the resistance, and lasts a relatively short amount of time, like 15 ticks. Rapid status ammo on light bowgun is still the champ, and it's definitely going to save you many headaches. Reload and recoil speed for all these status MOs is fine, and they do remain useful, even Poison actually.
Support like a
Next
weapon,
is
bro.
elemental MOs, which all
Support.
behave exactly the same now. Even Dragon is pretty much exactly the same, just with more recoil. Elemental MO has a pierce property here in Wilds, although the ticks are incredibly tight, and so it becomes very easy to use elemental MO even on small or narrow hitboxes. The only difference between elemental 1 and 2 is the motion value, as they both tick for 5 hits max, but dragons tick for 4 hits. Elemental is now affected by critical distance too, which is typically only on the raw portion
Surprise
before,
release
so that was
wiki,
also
man.
ignored, but now
Surprise,
you have to keep track of
surprise.
it. But the critical distance range is adequate enough. However, elemental ammo can't be used at point blank range, and even heavy bowgun has to be further back to use elemental ammo property, and it has to be like a roll away from a monster to make it effective, which is pretty bad considering that heavy bowgun is slow and a shield weapon now. In either case, it does half damage in or outside critical distance, which isn't awful compared to some MMOs that do like 10% outside of crit distance. Elemental ammo also has very solid recoil and reload speed on pretty much everything, and some of the fastest ammo around next to Pierce, which makes Elemental probably the best ammo for both light and heavy bowgun, only really being limited on their crafting materials, especially since we don't have spare shot.
Still crafting,
So the
bro.
last notable
Ditch.
MOs are the demon and armor shots, which now apply a cloud on hit, so players can walk into the buffs
Yeah,
themselves.
this is
and does
a
allow the player
support
using
weapon
them
now,
to buff
unfortunately,
themselves, which is
bro.
great.
Sucks nobody
Unfortunately,
played
there's only
HBG in the
3
beta for
Bowguns that have
feedback.
access to
I mean,
these
like
MOs. And that's all the Bowgun changes.
there is not a lot of like
if you look at this and the other breakdown
range
videos for the
players
inputs
on
and
One.
stuff from the beta, then you should get a good idea of what's happened to Bowguns here in Wild. Basically, we have world Bowguns, but a bit worse. We don't have any new MO types, and in fact, we have less MOs since we're all using the same MO across the board. And we have the same-ish special MOs to use, although adhesive MO is technically new for light Bowgun, it's also just a worm stake. We lost all the good modifications that Bowguns used to have, such as recoil and reload, barrel mods,
Why do they
siege
release on
mode,
console
and
12
limiter
hour?
removals. We have no charge shots for heavy
Yeah, well.
Bowgun, no more melee bash, and we didn't really gain anything special here in Wilds from the looks of it. Bowguns are just kind of stripped down here in Wilds, which kind of sucks. I'm not saying they're bad or unusable, they're far from it. Pierce ammo absolutely shreds. And there's actually just not a whole lot to do with Bowguns or Bowgun builds, since most of the MOs are pretty unusable, besides Elemental and Pierce. While every other weapon got a lot of upgrades and tweaks and movesets, Bowguns feel like they kind of had parts taken away, which is kind of where I'm disappointed. They're just not a whole lot of fun anymore, in my opinion. But anyway, that's going to be all for me. I hope you all learned something at least. Stay tuned for more advanced Bowgun information when we get motion values and stuff like that. And of course, I'm still going to make build videos to optimize them as best as we can. But yeah, peace and good luck out there, hunters.
Well, that is that, bro. Bowgun is fucked, bro. Okay, we're making the funeral for it, man. Funeral, bro. Okay, Bowgun is dead. Okay, but yeah, most of the thing is like basically unusable, man. It's just like elemental or like a pierce. Anything else like basically don't have enough ammo. Spread is like dead because of giga recoil. So like yeah, the only saving grace is potentially maybe HBG can do like special ammo build, but that's like about it, I guess. Okay, but yep. So I'm gonna try like to make a special ammo work, and if it doesn't work, then like we're dropping that weapon, bro. Unfortunately, so yep, sucks, but it is what it is. Okay, but yeah, Capcom killed like a Bowgun, man. Okay, but yeah, time to play a bow for like a weapon for 3-year-olds right here. Okay, but yep, I'm ditch. I am ditch, bro.